Hey buddies, Bugger here, coming out to another Borderlands 3 video. Today we're going to be showcasing the Pyroburst grenade and how much damage it can deal. So right off the bat, a lot of the times when people showcase the Pyroburst, it's with like Moze or something like that. And there's a lot of things that a lot of Moze mains use to increase our splash damage, which inherently make the Pyroburst actually worse for you. But there's actually some things you can do with Moze skill tree that you shouldn't pick, so you can actually use Pyroburst in a good manner and still be able to deal lots of damage. I saw at the beginning of this clip, I was able to kill Hermie, Rave Ward, Captain Trant, you name it. You can kill any enemy with this build. It's a very gimmicky type of build, but we're really going to be seeing whether or not we can place Pyroburst officially on the meme or meta rating, and hopefully by the end of this, I can prove to you otherwise that Pyroburst is actually pretty cool. Now before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. You have no idea how much it helps me out, and let's get into it. So right off the bat, a lot of people already know they have experiences where the splash damage is so crazy that you get knocked down. So a lot of people suggest maybe using a low level one to activate Vampire. Now, let me put my input on that before I show you the damage. So Pyroburst is an okay Vampire procer. I personally don't think that Vampire is really that great of a skill because of other skills that Moze can get, especially since they're level 72. You can get rushing the offensive very easy on any build, and all that requires you to sprint, while Vampire is only a percentage base. But if you were to take in consideration that Pyroburst only does splash damage 10 times as opposed to the 15 times that Cloning Mountain Tracker does, the Cloning Mountain Tracker is still one of the better ones. Of course, Cloning Mountain Tracker is like, I think 0.90% chance to even get in the game. So the Pyroburst is still a formidable grenade to use for Vampire if you like that. So you could get a low level Pyroburst if you wanted to get Vampire. But right here, I do have Captain Trant. Now he is Mayhem 10 and level 73. I would show you on the Handsome Jack target dummy, but the target dummy doesn't allow you to put homing grenades on itself, so it doesn't actually hit the dummy very well. So I'm going to show you, in case you aren't aware of how the grenade works. Basically, you throw it down, it launches immediately up into the air, and then it comes rocketing down with a bunch of different elements, dealing as much damage as possible. So right now we're not doing optimal things. I don't have my Revolter active or anything, but it still was able to kill him. I'm actually really surprised I killed him. I was looking to just showcase how the grenade works, but there you go. One grenade, we killed Captain Trant. I didn't mean for that to happen, but hey, I guess I guess that's an explanation on how good this grenade can be. And you see, I didn't actually die. Captain Trant was over there, and I didn't die despite me having a little bit of splash damage radius. Let me explain the first mistake a lot of people have with the Pyroburst. So Moze has this amazing skill called Torg Cross Promotion that increases your splash damage, which is so invaluable. It's like the most important thing to have on any splash damage build. But for this build, you do not want to have this. The reason for that is that every point you put in here gives every splash damage a chance to double in radius. Now, Pyroburst has a pretty big radius. It's one of the bigger ones in the game. So if you double that, it's gonna kill you no matter how far away you are. Like, I've been across I've been like a mile away from an enemy, it feels like, and still get down from this. Don't put any points in this, because you will die with this grenade otherwise. Don't put any points in the things that's gonna affect Iron Bear. We're not looking to deal any damage with Iron Bear. In fact, we're looking to summon Iron Bear and get him away as soon as possible. Now, the reason for that is we could add Big Surplus to our damage, which I believe affects grenades. Okay, I can't actually find a definite answer if Big Surplus does affects their damage, but I'm pretty sure it does. If it doesn't, tell me in the comments. Because of the fact that we're trying to get Iron Bear out there and away as soon as possible, this allows us to actually use a Revolter. Most of the time, Revolter is not used in Moze. The reason why I'm using this as opposed to another shield is because this is the only shield that's going to optimize in our damage even more, which is very essential because we need as much damage as possible. On top of that, if we try to use an old god, we couldn't guarantee that we affect the damage we deal because the old god only affects one element, while the Pyroburst spawns all different types of elements. On top of that, we're using a URAD Guardian Angel with a Deathless Elemental Projector. Most of the time, I don't use the Elemental Projector part of this, but just in case we do get a little dot on us, it does benefit us. But the Deathless is the important part, so we can proc our URAD. So the Guardian Angel does a great job at boosting the Pyroburst damage, as you'd probably expect. But what you might not have known, that Minesweeper, which is the class mod we're using, also is affected by Guardian Angel. So when Minesweeper spawns the little grenades from our grenade crits, it also gets Guardian Angel stacks, which is crazy because you know how much Minesweeper can deal. But if you add on top of that Guardian Angel, it just sweeps anything. Like when I was fighting Hermie, it killed him super quickly. So our main tactic is to summon him, to activate a revolter. He doesn't have anything that allows him to increase fuel, so he's gonna get out there and be gone really quickly. So it's very easy. And then we have a Sala in case we want to activate our elemental projector. But the other important thing to optimize the damage is the Pyroburst we have is while action skill is active, grenade damage is increased by 150%. Now, if we didn't have this, our damage would not be that great. Of course, I didn't use that against Captain Try, and I was still able to kill him. But still, this allows us to increase our damage by a lot more. So let me real quick go get some enemies and then I can showcase what I mean. One important thing that I want to note is that there is one splash damage radius that I did not want to have on this build that I unfortunately do have on my elemental deathless. So the deathless here is area effect damage. Now, area effect damage, you might be thinking, oh, that doesn't affect radius, but radius for AoEs is affected by area effect damage on artifacts if it's on the second or third line. I unfortunately could not find one with the first line, so we had to just deal with it. So this does increase our radius just a little bit, which means that we still die from the grenade every once in a while, but we do have some points in our action skill tree that allows us to spam grenades even if we need to, or we can just get out the plasma coil and we'll be fine. So the biggest offender on this build is the grenades. If you guys seen my meme or meta for the Nova Burner, you'll know that barrels are the bane of my existence for that build, and same with this one. So if I'm near any barrels, I'm just gonna die. So I'm gonna activate this Pyroburst, and these enemies are decently close to me, and I still died. So you still want to be a little bit far away despite what I said earlier, and despite the showings that you saw against Captain Tron. So the Pyroburst actually has an interesting tracking that I noticed. So the tracking of the Pyroburst is dependent on how far away you are from the enemy. So if you're too far away from the enemy and you have the Pyroburst thrown away, you throw it all the way over there, you're all the way over here. If you're too far away, the Pyroburst won't track the enemies. So you got to keep that in mind. The main strat with the Pyroburst is to throw it and then run away, but that's counterintuitive on how the grenade actually works. So because of that, we want, as I said many times already, you don't want any splash damage radius, so you can be kind of close to the enemies and still get the grenade to target the enemies you want. Because as soon as it starts tracking the enemies, you can run away and stuff. But if it's not tracking any enemies, it's not going to track any enemies no matter how close they get. So you got to be at least a little bit of distance close to them, which is, I feel, a weird design flaw. Maybe that shouldn't be the case, but it is the case for this grenade, so you just kind of have to suck it up. And even if the enemies are too close, you don't have to fear. You could just summon Iron Cub, or you should have Iron Cub summoned at all times. And since it's Mayhem 11, Iron Cub's going to do a great job and still be able to kill the enemies very easily. Or if you need to, you can shoot your Guardian Angel. Right now, my Iron Cub's not shooting. Okay, there we go. But most of the time, you should be safe at shooting your grenades, because even if you get down, there should be another enemy around that could get the grenade to activate Second Wind on yourself, like as you saw right there. It's still a very chaotic grenade, despite what we had said and the abilities we forced to not get, so we wouldn't have to deal with that, but there's still a chance that you're going to get that. So you still have to be a little bit careful when you play with this grenade. You just got to play a little bit differently than you normally would, but it's no big deal because most of the time, the enemy dies while you're in fight for your life, even if that were to happen. So don't worry about that too much. And if for some reason you don't have the ability that can just throw grenades while you have fight for your life, Iron Cub can go out there and revive you in case you really need that. I normally forget to show the skill tree, so I'm going to show it again. We have lots of points in the Fire and the Skag Den to allow us to increase our incendiary damage as much as possible. We got 5 extra points from our class tree. And then we have Auto Bear. Auto Bear is important here because as soon as Iron Cub goes away, he goes on cooldown. And then we can have him a little bit out there to allow us to get our action skill back while Iron Cub's active, which is very nice to have as well. We want to be able to throw as many grenades as we want and not to put any points up here. So this skill tree is normally like, a throwaway point. But it is important to have so we can get further down the skill tree, because you don't want any points in Stainless Steel Bear, Torque Cross Promotion, or Deadlines, because I'll make one Torque Cross Promotion will make you die, and then Stainless Steel Bear and Deadlines will allow Iron Bear to be out there longer than you would want. And then to the last is very important in Explosive Punctuation, so you can get Iron Cub back there. Red Tree Standard, you go all the way down to Flak Doctrine so you can increase your damage as much as possible. Also helps with survivability, I found, and then all the way to Specialist Bear, and then 3 points into Big Surplus. There isn't any points down here that would affect our damage very much, so we don't actually have any augments for Iron Cub, but it doesn't really affect our build at all. Of course, you want railguns for Iron Cub because it's the most damaging Iron Cub and Iron Bear weapon in the current meta. The first time I saw this weapon, I honestly thought it was just a stupid little like gimmicky thing, but it's actually really formidable. It does a lot of damage, a lot more damage than I was expecting. I've seen it deal like 1 billion damage very casually. and I was able to take down the Malawan takedown very, very easily with this build. And we're on Mayhem 11, so we don't have to worry about any Mayhem modifiers. Here's my Guardian ranks in case you want it. And I'll just real quick, just in case, recap on basically what you want to do with this build. You want to hold the Guardian Angel, so you either URAD with the Deathless, so you can activate URAD at all times. Then you want the Revolter, summon Iron Cub, and then while Iron Cub's active, your grenade damage is increased by 150%. And then you have Minesweeper, which allows you to, on crit with your grenade from Holy Holy Pin, to spawn a micro grenade that does a ton of damage. It scales off your Guardian Angel as well, and URAD is stuff, so that's very, very important. And then I want to put the verdict that I believe this grenade is actually a meta grenade. I feel like that's really weird to say. And I kind of valued some of my other meme/metas a little bit too harsh, I feel. A lot of the times meta guns in the meta are usually preferred on one particular character. Sometimes it's more than just one character, but a decent amount of weapons are meta because of one character. So I feel like we can consider the Pyroburst to actually be meta. I'm able to clear any type of content with it. It's very, very easy. It's really brain dead, actually. So I'm just going to consider it meta. It's super, super easy to deal a lot of damage with this build, and I don't get downed because we're not using Tor Cross Promotion. It's actually a lot better than people claim it to be because we're used to building a certain way, but if you just build a little bit differently, you're able to deal a lot more damage with it. So there's my verdict, it's meta. If you guys want to try this build, there's going to be a save file down below in the comments and description. And don't forget to join my Discord server. That'll be in the comments and description as well. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.
And the last shall be first to immerse in a pass out heat, facing him up with a moxie melt till he woke up drowning in tchotchke hell. More in a cave with a torch on a wall than a window arrangement of porcelain dolls.